there can be a massive difference between a boat that is safe to cross an ocean and a boat you actually want to live on. Many yachts on the market won't have the systems required to transform your liveaboard life from camping on the water to living in comfort. My name is Ryan, and I help people design and optimize their liveaboard life. If a boat you're looking at doesn't have these systems, you need to budget for it immediately or walk away. Let's get into it. The first system specifically is climate control, air conditioning, heating. You might think, oh, I'm going to be taking my boat to tropical climates where the weather is beautiful and I'll just have the hatches open. The reality is you're going to need your climate control system a lot more than you think you will. And it's not one of those systems that you want to skimp on or buy a boat without and then just plan on retroactively refitting and adding it later. Anytime you need to install one of these systems from scratch, it's going to take a lot more time and money than it would be if you bought a boat with the system already in place that's either A, completely functional, or B, mostly functional, just needs some servicing, or even worst case scenario, you need to replace like the unit. The system is still designed and it will cost you a lot less time and money to do that than to buy a boat without the system at all and having to build it from scratch. So for air conditioning, why are you going to need air conditioning if you're going to be traveling to tropical places? Very practical, real-world examples are bugs. In the evenings, when the wind dies down, the bugs come out. And yes, you can have screens, you can use fans, you can use candles and bug spray, but the easiest thing to do is just close the hatches, turn the air conditioner on, let it dry the boat out first of all, so that when you go to bed, your sheets feel drier, everything feels drier. Cool down the inside of the boat after the heat of the day, and also keep the bugs out. That's one of the primary use cases, even when you're in the tropics, is just run the air conditioner for a couple hours in the evening after dinner. It'll make your evening and your wind down routine a lot more comfortable and less annoying. Another reason to want climate control is when you're at a marina. It's very rare that you're going to be at a marina and the wind will be blowing the right way to come through your hatches and clear the boat out and to have a pleasant climate. More often, the marina is going to have noise, there will be traffic, there will be people walking around, more bugs, poor wind. Even where the weather is perfect, you will want to be able to run your air conditioning for a decent portion of the day at marinas. The next system that's vital to your liveaboard comfort is a generator of some sort. And many will have from down to a little Honda 2000 watt generator to large, many kilowatt diesel generators, marine diesel generators. And while that's good, it's not even for comfort, but just living on a boat, you're gonna need a generator. Having a good quality gas or diesel generator is essential for liveaboard life, but does come with some trade-offs. You need to manage fuel, you need to perform all the mechanical maintenance on it. When it's running, you have to make sure that the exhaust is being properly handled. You have to deal with the vibration and the noise that comes from a generator. And it takes an extra bit of your attention, your processing power. There's a little bit of mental load that's carried when you're running the generator, knowing it's on, knowing that it's consuming resources. You have to manage it a little bit. That's why I'm a big proponent of having some sort of passive electrical generation, whether it's a wind generator, solar panels, or both. These passive systems create a lot less mental load and less stress. They run automatically. You don't really have to do anything, and the power just shows up in your batteries. And that creates that sense of abundance with, electrically speaking, that is not something that you quite get when it comes to the generator, because the generator has that little bit of mental load, that little bit of cost always when running the generator. The solar panels are silent, the wind generators are pretty quiet, a little bit of vibration, a little bit of noise, but they work when it's cloudy. So for liveaboard comfort, you definitely need an active engine-based electrical generation machine, and then also highly recommended solar panels, wind generator, something that's passive, that just is always working without you having to pay attention to it. And once again, these systems are a lot to design and install from scratch. So if a boat that you're looking at has a robust generator and passive electrical generation system, that's a huge perk compared to a similar vessel that doesn't have that. Now we're going on to the third liveaboard comfort that is an absolute must to make your life easy, and it's a very large battery bank. Nowadays, that's probably going to be a lithium battery bank, but it doesn't have to be. There are AGM battery banks or even lead acid battery banks that can do the job. The weight to size ratio, depending on your vessel, might make a difference, but lithium is more and more what people are leaning towards. But really, it's not the chemistry that really matters, it's the capacity. You need a very large battery bank that will enable you to have to less frequently manage how much power you have, and it will also allow you to grow into your liveaboard life. You are going to inevitably get more electrical devices, not less electrical devices. And if you start on a boat that is already underpowered, then you're always going to be playing the electrical budget game. And again, that's just another constant stress, another thing to have to manage, another thing to have to educate your crew on, another thing to go wrong. If a boat doesn't have an adequate sized electrical system battery bank, oftentimes you're looking at a complete replacement of the battery bank. It's kind of difficult to say, oh, I just want to augment my battery bank by, I want to double it. So I've got 500 amp hours right now, and that's not quite enough for our lifestyle. I want another 500 amp hours. Well, then you have to manage two separate battery banks. You can't just add new batteries to an old battery bank. They have to be managed separately. It's a hassle. A lot of times, most people will have to just replace entirely the old battery bank with the new battery bank. So if you're looking at boats, one that has a fairly new, professionally installed, properly maintained, large battery bank will yield significantly more comfort and less stress over your first year or many years of living on the boat. It's not optional. It's the heartbeat of the boat. You need a big battery bank for comfort. The fourth system you need for comfortable liveaboard life is a water maker. We didn't have a water maker for the first couple years of living on board. We do carry 200 gallons of water. For us, that's a decent amount, but even with that, we'd have to move the boat every so often to refill up with water. And the question is, how good is this quality of water? Do we have to pay for it? Is this potable water? Do we need to treat the tanks? And then we're also always conserving. Oh, well, don't take too long a shower. Don't wash the dishes with too much water. Turn the water off brushing your teeth. Having to ration your water all the time is yet another bit of stress and makes it feel more like camping. True, to some extent, you're going to have to ration your water. You can't treat water on a boat like you do in a house, but there's a big difference between only being able to shower once a week versus being able to shower every other day and wash the dishes with fresh water and flush the toilets with fresh water versus being very, very minimalistic. You can do very minimalistic, but we're talking about making your liveaboard life comfortable, and having the budget for our water maker is a big game changer there. There's a lot of different sizes of water makers, AC water makers, DC water makers. Again, if your boat already has a water maker system installed that you're looking at versus purchasing one without, it will be a lot more time, work, effort, and research to wholesale install a brand new water maker system into the boat than to maintain, service, or update an existing system. Either way, for comfort's sake, you want to have a water maker system on your vessel. The last system, the fifth system that really can transform living on a boat from camping to a floating home is a washer dryer system. This seems like a bit of a luxury when you are first considering it. It almost seems excessive in some ways to mandate that you have a washer dryer for your clothes on the boat. But the ability to take care of your household within the household versus having to take all your clothes to a laundromat to save them up or rewear them when they're dirty or wash them in the salt water and then rinse them with fresh water. The ability to clean your clothes, clean your linens, clean your towels, all on the boat to make them fresh and new again makes a very, very big difference in how homey and self-sustaining your liveaboard experience will be. Yes, you can save your dirty clothes up. You can take them to the laundromat. Many marinas have machines where you can wash your clothes, but all that extra overhead for moving your clothes gets to the point where it's no longer an adventure to do this. It's no longer novel to have to take your clothes up to the marina and wash them. It becomes a grind. It becomes tedious, and you don't need to make liveaboard life harder. The challenges are built in. Everything you can do to make your boat more your home and to give you these creature comforts will not only enhance your experience but diminish that constant juggling of logistics resources that you have. It won't go away. Liveaboard life will present challenges on its own. As many challenges as you can remedy by having these comfort systems in place will not only enhance your experience, but also diminish that mental load you have to have for finding workarounds to making your life comfortable, to figuring out the schedule for taking your laundry up, or how to make your boat less humid or less buggy, or having to constantly budget water and electricity. All of these things are day-to-day life systems that aren't actually required for the boat to be a boat, which is why many of boats that you'll be looking at won't have these systems. So when shopping for a boat, keep in mind that in addition to the default safety systems that you need on a boat for a boat to be a boat, you also want your boat to be a home if you're planning on living aboard. So you also need to pay attention to these comfort systems. If the boat you love, your dream boat, doesn't have these systems, then you need to budget to have these systems installed. Maybe not right away, and maybe there's a priority, but don't want the life to be more of a grind than it needs to be. And the quality of life that you'll get finding a boat that's got these comfort systems in addition to the normal boat systems is truly worth the extra time and effort. So if you're shopping for a boat and you have questions about the systems or questions about budgeting, or if you bought a boat and you feel like you're in too deep and don't know what to change first about your boat, I do one-on-one strategy or consulting sessions with people, again, to optimize their liveaboard life. The link is below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.